Assalamu alaikum. I'm Ali Kaj, an angel warrior of the Midwest and a messenger of the covenant, representing the messenger of the covenant, the breaker of the seven seals, the self-taught one, Master Suleiman, has given us the Injil, the gospel revelations, with the Injil key that gives us the understanding of the unsealed scriptures. Brothers and sisters, this is titled False Jews Integration of the false Jews. This is part 2. Of integration. I just added on the false Jew integration to integration. And before we get started in our topic, we're going to speak on the Holocaust. Presentation. The Holocaust. The Holocaust, the 400 years of terror and suffering that the black men and women endured here in the hills of North America. The Holocaust is the affliction, the 400 years of affliction that the true seed of Abraham was to go through. Abraham's seed was to go through 400 years of affliction in this strange land, in a land that was not theirs, that they would took to, kidnapped and took to. This is America. This is where we was kidnapped and took. This is where we've been afflicted. This is where we've been killed, hung, mutilated, castrated. This is where we've been dehumanized, taken literally out the human family, wrote in this Constitution as 3/5 of an animal, 3/5 of a man. We're being treated like an animal. We had no rights, no human rights. So we were dehumanized because we had no rights as a human, no human rights whatsoever. So we're making this understood to the conditions and what we went through here in the hills of America. To bring your mind to the atrocities that we've went through. The level of torture and affliction that we were put through 24/7, 365 for 400 plus years, lifetimes, not 4 years, like 400 years, being afflicted, children being killed, children dying at an alarming rate, children being fed cow milk and muddy water, as our women milked, had masters' children feeding them on their breasts, and our children sitting aside, not getting anything and being fed cow milk and muddy water because our women was not allowed to even feed the children, their children. It was not allowed. Brothers and sisters, you have to understand the hate that it takes for a people to do, a people like us, a people that didn't do anything to you, that you just brought them in and afflicted them, took their humanity, hung us, lynched us, worked us day and night. We were given the bare minimum to live off of. We were being fed cow dung, shitterlings. We were given all the same thing that they were feeding animals, slop. The barley, corn, slop right out of troughs, being housed in shacks, sleeping on floors, or sleeping in barns like animals. Parts of the barns, the tops of the barn. They kept us right with the animal, that we was considered animals. Have us locked in, chained up, locked down. And they want to try to hide these facts. But when they was doing it, they want to hide it now from their children. But they wasn't hiding it then from their children. They were making sure that their children watched. And they told their children, this is how you treat a nigga. This is what you do to these niggas. These nothing people. You hang them. You beat them. You whoop them. You torture them. You kill them. They're nothing. On weekend get-togethers, on the weekend get together in the square, they'll have a hanging or a lynching or a burning at the stake, a tearing of the human of a black man's or woman's body for fun, for entertainment, using our children to hunt alligators. The children, the babies, infants, toddlers. This is what they were doing to us. They had no remorse for us as a people. None. They took our language, our culture. They took everything from us. They stripped us. They took our children and stripped us and raised our children as animals. They raped our women. They put their filthy seed in us. So much so, we got two different black men in America now. Their seed, the black-faced demons, and the original seed, the black man and woman of America, the Levites and the tribe of Shabazz. So they don't want. We gonna make sure that you understand what the Holocaust is, because they want to act like Hitler did something wrong, and the Holocaust was so devastating when we lost 200 million black men, women, and children just on the trip through the mid-Atlantic slave trade. Just on the trip, we lost 20 million black babies in from abortion. $20 million. And they talking about 4 to 6 million people, 4 years. We talking about lifetime, generations, hundreds of years. They talking about what Hitler did. Hitler had a reason for what he done. There was a reason. The false Jews know what they did to cause Hitler to do what he done. It wasn't for nothing. It was just out the blue. Oh, he just out the blue did. No, it wasn't. And they wasn't tortured. Their language wasn't took from them. They wasn't afflicted for 400 years. They were put into a gas chamber where before they knew what hit them, they was already gone. And a lot of them bought their self. They wasn't even went out. No one went out and got them and drug them there. They came willingly because their rabbis told them to come. So we're not going to let them get away with this. That 400 years of horror and terror is the reason behind what is happening right now. The Holocaust is the reason for their judgment. After that 400 years of horror and terror, after that 400 years of affliction, I will come get them and bring them out with great substance, and that nation that they served, I will judge. That's where we are. So, with no delay, let's get into this, into our topic. Okay. The topic is titled False Jews Integration and the false Jews. This is part 2 of integration. Just added false Jews, and I should put that on the first one. However, we're going to get started. Okay, hold on. I'm going to do this. There we are. All right. We're going to begin In this time, we're going to start at and move rather quickly through this to show you or complete the idea that where we were earlier tonight, on a previous part 1 of this series, 2 right now. In case I don't think I did a good job, I might have to do another one. However, we'll see. The original man and the devils were separated. White America was white America. Black America was black America. White America was wanted whites only in. They wanted separation. And Elijah Muhammad's Master Farah Muhammad, Elijah Muhammad was teaching the same thing. We wanted separation. We were doing for self. We was taking care of self. We didn't need any help. We didn't care about integrating because we wanted to do for self. We wanted to build for ourselves. We wanted a nation for ourselves. And that is what Elijah Muhammad was building. Also, receiving the knowledge of self allowed us to know who we are and to know who our open enemy is. And as well as knowing what time we were living out Exodus, and what scriptures or who we are in the scriptures, and who our nation is, that we're the true seed of Abraham. We're Abraham's seed, that the scriptures share that we will be in this land for 400 years. Being tormented and afflicted in this strange land. So the messenger took what Master Farah Muhammad shared with him, and he was teaching us that we're the black man, the original man, and that we're the true seed of Abraham, and we're living our Exodus. So that's where we were. And the messenger was teaching to do for self. We want separation. We don't want any integration. We have to do for self. So the nation was being built, and we wasn't asking for anything. We wasn't upset about separation. We wasn't opposed to having your own, opposed to separate non-race mixing. We wasn't opposed to that. That's exactly what we were teaching. We were being taught, and that's what we were standing on. We started taking care of self. We started raising a nation, building a nation for self. So that narration of that we're the true seed of Abraham, and all the facts were there. We're in we're being we're being kept and captured inside of the ruling nation of the world, just like the seed of Abraham, where Pharaoh, the ruler of the world power, was had God's chosen people. So we fit that right there. Period. We in the bosom of hell, right in America, by the world power of America, and we've been enslaved and afflicted for 400 years, and we had no human rights. We were treated as animals. So we know that. So let us move on. These pictures is the Nation of Islam. Elijah Muhammad, the Nation of Islam being up under the leadership of the messenger as we raise our own nation. So this is what we were doing. Now, after the messenger's teaching and the understanding is being given that we're the true seed of Abraham. We're God's chosen people. The proof of we were taken from our land and brought to this strange land. We were kidnapped by the false Jews. We were taken in their boats and their ship, and they were taking us across the globe, taking us to Europe, England, and bringing us, the majority of us, to the Americans and selling us. So this was the false Jews was doing, selling the black man and woman. They was directly involved with the slave trade. This is where they was getting their commerce, the false Jews. So because of the truth being shared and the interpretation that the messenger was given, as we were raising up, building our nation, and the interpretation that we're the true seed of Abraham and we're God's chosen people, caused a problem for America. So at the time, America was saying they were the spiritual seed of Abraham, and they was claiming America. So this is what they were saying, that they had the right to take America and do what they wanted to do. However, the messenger's narration caused the truth being shared, put light on them, and they had to counter that narrative. So what they did, they utilized false Israel and to try to close the book on what on the narrative of we're the true seed of Abraham and we're God's chosen people, and knowing that God's chosen people will be afflicted by in this strange land for 400 years. So 1948, we was well into our 400 years period. We were 1948. let's say 1619, 120, 1719 is 100, 17 to 1819 is 200, 1819 to 20 to 1919 is 300, 19 to 48. We had 300 and something years of being in this plus. Of being in this hell of America. And the false Jews is the ones that had a hand in it. They also made sure that slavery, when they tried to abolish slavery, the false Jews stuck up and made sure that they didn't take slavery out. They kept it and they fought for it, and as they passed the law to keep slavery going. That was in the early 1700s or 16. It was earlier than 1619, not 1700. Early 1619. That was in the 1500s. So, excuse me, that was in the 1500s. So they made sure that slavery continued. So, in 1948, after Elijah Muhammad, Master Fard Muhammad taught Elijah Muhammad, and Elijah was teaching, going around the country teaching and teaching us the supreme wisdom and teaching us who we are and teaching us about the 400 years and teaching us that we're living out Exodus. They had to try to change that narrative because the world was being woke up on that narrative, because you can prove that narrative. We were the only people that had been afflicted and stripped and everything taken from us. We still can prove it. Now, false Israel. Brothers and sisters, false Israel is false. They're not Israel at all. They're the synagogue of Satan. And we have been, these are the people that enslaved, that took us from our lands and brought us here and had helped and is to enslave us. Now, we're going to walk through how these things what was taking place, and how we're going to explain it direct and go through exactly how and what was taking place and why false Israel is sitting in the Middle East, which is heaven, has stole our identity and has lived off of us, and how they used the demons and they've rolled the coattail of the demons and the original black man and woman, and have lived off of us and has not just enslaved us once, but they have been parasites living off of us the whole time, and lying and using the demons to push their own agenda for their own cause to move themselves up in our position, up in position. Basically, they've been living off the black man and woman, the demons and the righteous. So let's go through. We're gonna start it. Let me read this. Oh, I can leave myself there. Look, that was set up in 1948 by Britain and America. False Israel was set up by Britain and America in 1948. It says, "Look, I am giving out of the synagogue of Satan, of the same themselves Jews to be, and not they are, but they are lying." Now I want you to see this. So, well, I'm not going to move myself. "Look, I am giving out of the synagogue of Satan, of the saying themselves Jews to be, and not they are, but they are lying." So they're lying. And we're going to get into exactly what's taking place with these false Jews and how they have manipulated and used the devils, the demons to deceive, and how they have pushed themselves even into kept their existence, how they maneuvered themselves in position by riding our coattail and literally living off of us. And we're going to explain it. We're going to explain it. So 1948, they were set over into the Middle East by Britain and America. America protects them, insures them, pays them, and gives them their military weaponry. Britain, false Jews, government is set up identical to Britain's. Britain protects and also protects false Israel, and it's also with America. This Magog. Gog and Magog set false Israel, the synagogue of Satan. You got Gog, Magog, and the synagogue of Satan together. And this is false Israel, Britain, Gog, Magog, which came out of Gog. Both of these two countries are the two world powers that came since the Dark Ages in the last 500 years. The sun never set on Britain, and America is their sister country, but and America and Britain are the only two world powers since the rule of the Caucasian. So, world powers that ruled the whole world, that's pushing. And when Britain went down, America came up. And these two powers put false Israel, or the synagogue of Satan, in heaven, which is the Middle East. So let us move on. It said, "Look, thrones was lying. This throne, they're sitting in heaven or the middle of the east, and they sitting on the throne, a lying throne in heaven, and upon the throne sitting. They said throne was lying. It's a lying throne. They are liars. And we can prove every part of their lies. They ain't nothing but liars and synagogue of Satan. That's what they are. That's who they are. And we're gonna go through it. We're gonna move quick. Now, let me get myself back up on here. So as you can see me. In 1954, the Civil Rights Movement. Now, America itself was segregated. Elijah Muhammad and the Nation of Islam was being built, teaching and bringing our people together, and we wanted separation as well. We wanted our own. We wanted our own. That's why we had our own nation. We was building our own nation, separate from the white nation, separate. So it was two nations in one, but the Elijah Muhammad was bringing us together and giving us the knowledge of self that was causing us to rise up and start taking care of self and understanding what it meant about how to build a nation, how to take care of self, how to fund self, how to build banks, and all the things it took to produce a nation. Elijah Muhammad produced that from the he produced that. Elijah Muhammad produced everything that was needed for us to be a nation. So we were self-sufficient. We actually had our own clothing. We were making our own clothing. We had our own printers, our own sewing machines, a real clothing shop. What it took, the essence of it, not what they call, I got my own clothing line. You got a name, and you go and you take your stuff, and someone else makes the clothes on their machines, and they take their material and make it, and then you put your name on it. So you have to pay them to do all the work. No, we had our own. We were starting from the bottom. We were starting from the essence of each thing and making it from how it's made. The clothing store, a clothing process where you have to have the material, the machines to make it. We were doing all of that, and we were hiring ourselves to carry out they had the jobs, and we were building our own fashions. We was doing what our mind wanted from all things. Our own supermarkets. We were farming. We were bringing our food in. We was importing and exporting. We had our own ships that we was importing, exporting, going to get goods. We had our own banks. our own bank to where we can our own money going in, and we can give loans and to our own people and take care of our own people, make sure that we can get the houses and the things that we needed as a people. We can go into penitentiaries and bring our people out and give them jobs and everything that they needed to meet the qualifications of being let out of those jail cells, which was just the prison cells was nothing but the slaves being in slavery. So we were bringing our people out of bondage, out of being held up by the white man, giving them knowledge of self, giving them hope, and raising them up to want to do for self and be able to keep their mind in a to put your mind at ease and make what you're doing worth doing it, because you're doing it for yourself and your people, and you can see the benefit, and you don't have to worry about all the things that we were just up under, and we were still up under it, but we wasn't asking nobody to give us nothing, because we was giving ourselves what they was, that we didn't have to ask nobody to give us rights. We was taking our rights because we was going to do it for ourselves. We didn't have to ask for, didn't want integration. We wasn't asking for nothing. You didn't have to respect. We was going to make you respect us, because we was going to do it all for ourselves and be in our own areas, and we didn't want to mix. We didn't want a race mix. That wasn't in our program. That wasn't in the program of the Nation of Islam. However, this civil rights movement, as you see all these demons, and what are the demons? What the demons are master's children, and either they were demon or Negro bots, black people that just been duped and fell in love with master's plan, with master's, and we can say very few or some was Negro bots, but the majority of them were demons, black face devils. So these is the other side. These are the ones that come from master seed. The demons that we were we've been infested or with demons, possessed by demons through years of rape, hundreds of years of rape, and master's seed, and they're procreating and they produce demons. All the male master seeds that are male, they procreate, they make babies. And this is a scientific thing that they have been doing. They did this everywhere they went. They did it in Australia to take the Aborigines out. They did it with us here. They did it with the Indian Native Americans. They put their seed, because they didn't have their woman, so they was taking a woman, putting their seed in it, which made the seed, the baby, his nature was of his father's. And the love for his father was in the seed, because the seed of the father is going to turn back to the father, or want a relationship, or want to serve his father. So that's why they were doing this, and they were making these black face demons. And this is the ones that they were utilizing in slavery as their preachers, their overseers, their spies. This is their children that they were sitting in among us, and they were listening, and they go back and tell Master's give them treat. They the house Negro. Master seed that he allowed to be in the big house with him. And they was allowed to procreate. A lot of them was allowed to procreate. They was even, Master knew that was his child. But they was the deadbeat dads. They was the first dead, because they didn't care if they was their child. They would sit them in the field. Go out there, you a nigga, baby. They didn't have to. You still a nigga. I don't care if you are my child. I'm not taking care of you. You're not white. So these was Master seed. So what they done was they allowed the demons, Master seed, he would allow, his black-faced demon to take on, one of his friends or someone down the road, black-faced demon, and they would let them procreate. They would let the black-faced demons procreate because they produced another seed that was more likable, or more in tuned to Master's ideas and wants, because it was Master's grandson. So you are who your father are. So we are infested. We are infested by these black-faced demons. And they, through the time, they allowed them, they gave them more benefits, more perks. They allowed them to learn to read. They allowed them to sit around and friend their other children, on the sly. Not as they're your brother, but they knew that was their seed. So they kept their children and made them house Negroes. They still put them to work. Some even still was in the field. They still was somewhat persecuted, and they were still being afflicted, but not as afflicted like the original black man and woman. Now, when the messenger was teaching, the Nation of Islam wanted separation. We was all about separation. We wasn't asking for nothing. We was taking what we want. We was doing for self. So, doing for self, and America wanted separation. But false Israel was set up in 1948 to kill this narration. False Israel's back in the Holy Land, back in heaven, and the Jews are God's chosen people, and they utilize the black-faced demons to push their own agenda. Now listen to this. They rode in as 1948. They knew they'd been set over in false Israel. But they had to change the narration, and they had to find a way to build on their own, to make a situation so they can stay in existence themselves. So they had to find a way so they can live, they can survive. Because with two worlds in one, we're going to say, with the Nation of Islam and the black man and woman, the original black man and woman, doing for self, you have the counterintelligence program, the government sending in demons, the same as the black man and woman that was being used by the Jews. They sending these demons in as informants, paid hands, spies, to disrupt and keep an eye, and to come back and to report and to find and to go up ranks and to get in positions so they can be told what to do. There was being shared how to disrupt or taking information and giving it back to this counterintelligence program. Now, we had a total, we're at total war. They're at total war against us. Period, point blank. This is a war on the Nation of Islam, the war on the black man and woman of America. Period. We've never been the system has never changed its direction to keep control and dominance over the black man and woman, and to keep them subservient and submissive to what what white America want, and also to keep them unaware of who we are, unaware of being the true seed of Abraham, and to kill that narration. So the civil rights movement. Now, knowing in this time that you never heard they had took the Abrahamic covenant out the church, and they used these black-faced demons because that's where I was at. Let me get back there. Two nations. And if we rose and just took care of ourselves, it will be a black nation inside of America. And the black nation will grow and grow and be as big as the white nation of America. And that scared them, because at first they didn't have to worry about that. But as we were told who we are, and Elijah Muhammad was producing thinking black men. We was back to thinking and doing for self and coming together. That we was a nation and we had our own flag and our own nation. Everything that was needed, we produced it. We had trucking companies and we were hiring our own people. All the things that you can go and see, everything to this day, what the Nation of Islam had acquired up under the leadership of Elijah Muhammad. Everything that it took to be a nation. So, if that was the accord left and America wanted separation and we wanted separation, everything was okay. We didn't want to integrate. So there was a group, the demons. They wasn't with the original black man and woman doing for self. They was the Christians, the Christian blacks, those that love Master's narration. They love Master. They loved Jesus. They loved the spook God. They were more inclined to their fathers. They wanted to be around their father. They wanted to be recognized by their father. They wanted to live amongst their father. They wanted to live around their father because that's their nature. And they wanted the American dream. The original black man and woman wanted their own, wanted to do for self, wanted separation. We wanted to be out of here, to separate, total separation. But that's not what the demons want. So there was millions of Christian blacks that wasn't, and some of them was, like I said, was Negro bots. Just didn't want to let go some of the things that Master had paralyzed, or their minds had, had our minds locked on things that they just didn't want to change. However, 1954, this civil rights movement, you can say, well, what really brought this civil rights movement on? Who funded this movement? What was this movement about? This movement was brought on by the false Jews. They had to change the narration, and they was using the demons to assist them to change the narration and to change the format of America. They had to change America's format. So they utilized the blackface demons to go to war or to bring decision amongst the blacks, the Nation of Islam, and they also used them to as a weapon to hide behind and cause this movement to rise up white America as well, because they needed integration so they can put their self somewhere in the program so they could exist. Because if it was just a black America in a white America, where was the Jews going to find their own inside of this? Because they weren't going to be allowed to run or rule the white America. And so if black America was only going to be ran by blacks or colored, what they call us, then how would they get a hold of that? That's a whole section of money. So if the Nation of Islam would have grown to its, grown to where it should have grown to, then it would have been two nations inside of one, and the black nation would have been strongly where it could have did for self, and the amount of money going into it. Things would have been a lot different. However, the civil rights movement was started by and funded by the Jews. And they're not Jews, as we just told you. They are those that call themselves Jews. That's why we call them false Jews. They're false Jews. The NAACP was founded and funded by the false Jews. The SCLC founded and funded by the false Jews. The civil rights movement, largest groups, this whole civil rights movement was founded and funded, and the demons were brought in and used for the face, a face and a physical group to apply this movement to. So they use the black face to describe this movement as being a movement for black people, even though the demons are master seed. They're black in color, but they're not the original man and woman. They're not us. So they use the demons and put the face of the black man and woman on the civil rights movement. Now, we just uncovering and waking up and giving an understanding of who we are, and that we're the true seed of Abraham. And this covenant of Abraham is under assault, because Elijah Muhammad let us know that we're the true seed of Abraham and was teaching us that we're living out Exodus. So let me see. Abraham covenant. Do we have that here? I don't have it. Sure do. I do have it. So let me go up here, because before I go on into this, I wanna make sure that you got this. So we're the true seed of Abraham. These false Jews are about to utilize the demons, the devil's seed, the wolves in sheep clothing, those that were utilized in our demise. And this is, we're going to definitely get a great understanding of the separatists, that while they're the demons and we're the original black men and women, why it is a separate, why we are not the same, no matter how you feel. And this is what this is all about. This whole narration of them stealing our identity, utilizing not utilizing the demons to push a whole agenda to go to war. And we're going to get back into that, but let's get into this Abrahamic covenant. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs. The black man and woman. A stranger in a land that is not theirs. And I like the sojourner one better, but we're going to work with this one. And shall serve them, and they shall afflict them for 400 years. Not 4 years. Not 400 years, 1,000 years, or 2,000 years, somewhere long ago where you can't find it. But my people will be in a strange land for 400 years, and they shall serve them, and they shall be afflicted for 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge. And afterwards shall they come out with great substance. So this is what they're trying to say. They want to be us, the true seed of Abraham, but they don't have the credentials. They ain't been enslaved. They ain't been afflicted for 400 years. Their names haven't been taken. They ain't been dehumanized. They have no proof of nothing. And what they've done, what they did have happen to them, had a reason behind what happened to them. But when it comes to the black man and woman, they can't give you a reason that they had. The false Jews, these ones right here, that they set back in heaven or the Middle East, trying to nullify the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, to try to kill that narration, that narrative. So, and afterwards they shall come out with great substance. They're trying to say that's why they're back in there. And thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace, and thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in that fourth generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquities of the Amorites are not yet full. They should come here. They should go back to here where they come from, here, there again. And it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those pieces, places. I'm going to take myself down so you can see it. When the sun went down and it was dark, behold, a smoking furnace and a burning lamp that passed between those places. In the same day, the Lord made a covenant with Abram, not Abraham, Abram, because they called us Ham, but the Lord made a covenant with Abram, saying, unto thy seed have I given the land from the river of Egypt unto the great river, the river Euphrates. So they're set in Palestine by Britain and America. They are protected by Britain and America in Palestine. Okay, let me get this back up. All right. So, we know, so they're trying to say they did 4 years. And now, at first, America was the spiritual seed. And they came over here and this was their land. They was using the Abrahamic covenant. The Christians here was we're the spiritual seed of Abrahamic covenant because the covenant fell down. Y'all lost control of the covenant. However, it shared with you what the people, what God's chosen people would go through. 400 years of affliction in a strange land that they was took to. They didn't go, they was took. Nobody took America. Nobody took the Europeans and took them here. They went, they came here. Nobody went and took the false Jews to Germany. They were there. So they weren't took nowhere. They didn't do 400 years nowhere. They wasn't afflicted. And not only were we afflicted, we are kept and as prisoners at right here in Pharaoh's, the ruler of the planet. We are in Egypt. Egypt was the ruler of the planet. We are in who? We're sitting in the bosom of hell and with the devil in the devil's lair. We're sitting among what's his name? King Herod. We sitting among we are sitting right in the one that's ruling the world, ruling of the planet. So the civil rights movement, we're gonna run through this. We're gonna get there though. We're gonna make our people, the original black man and woman, know that it's a difference. These demons that is in your face lead you into the ways of the man, into the ways of the slave master, into the ways of the devil, into the ways of their father. They've been used by their fathers to receive what they want, more of what their father had. They love their father's ideas because they're part of his ideas. It's their nature. They have the same nature as their father. So when you see black-faced demons and you see black-faced people doing what their devil fathers do, killing, robbing, stealing, and they make it look like it's the original man and woman. No, it's the devil seed, his black-faced devils impersonating, acting like we're the same, one and the same. No, they're wolves in sheep's clothing. They're when the devil said, I will put my seed into the saints, into your chosen people. That's what he meant. This is not something they don't understand. This is scientific. You are what your father is. You are a part of your father. You have the nature of your father. And it's 17 million black-faced demons. It's 17 million original black men and women here in America. So, because we all, the original man wanted his own, this separation, they utilized what? They went into the Jews, the false Jews went into the churches. And they come up with this, they planned this out. And they brought the plan out in 1954. They've been planning. This is not this is a well thought out plan. And they needed, so like I said, they used the black-faced demons and set the movement and named it Civil Rights Movement. And they set this movement on the group of black-faced demons. So they needed a people besides their self, because they couldn't come out and set this movement up without having a face or a people to set the civil rights movement on. So they took the churches, the demons from the churches, the black faces, the black-faced demons, and they put them in positions in the NAACP, which is founded and funded by the false Jews. The SCLC, they paid these churches. They built schools in Atlanta and all through the South. They built colleges. The false Jews did all this. And they gave the curriculum. So while you're thinking that the black man and woman had any influence for real on these topics, no. This agenda and this movement was brought about by the false Jews. So this is how they had to break these. They utilized the demons to not only attack the original black man and woman, they used it to attack white America as well. Because they had to change the fabric. They had to break up the American society. They had to change American society so they could exist. So they can find a way to form, and they did it so they can secure their position in the world. So let us move on to our next slide. Brothers and sisters, you're gonna know it's demons, and this is the original man and woman. We're not the same. We've been demon possessed. So this is who's behind this. Who's pushing this race mixing? Because we all wanted separation. We didn't want no integration. But you feed these demons and these Negro bots what you want, what's your program, what you need them to do. So they puppet master. They was the puppet master of the demons. Yeah, you want more of what masters want. We gonna give you more of this. All you gotta do is do this. You want this, we're gonna back you. Get the churches. So they go into churches, rev the churches up. They paying the churches. This is you want to be free. You want to be able to go into any business you want to be able to deal with any man or woman that you want to deal with. You want to race mix. So let us go into this. Jews behind race mixing. The false Jews, the synagogue of Satan, is those behind this race mixing. Say, Jewish life official organ of the Jewish section of Community Party, a Communist Party, in its June 1950 issue on page 8, it states, our job as Jewish communists, gee whiz, Communist Party, as Jewish communists is to take the lead in educating the Jewish masses on the meaning of white supremacy and to enroll the Jewish community in an all-out fight against it. This is paramount in our work in the struggle for Negro rights. Now listen to how they twisted this. We're going to keep reading. It's a struggle for Negro rights. They're going to try to, so they're using what the Negro, the demons, to say what rights that they need. These is rights that the false Jews need. But they put this movement on the back of the so-called Negro, but they put it on the back of the demon because the Negro already they wanted separation. The original black man, he was already doing what he wanted. He wanted separation. So there is vital. This is vital. Let me get it backward. There we are. This is vital to the struggle of Jewish people. Listen. They first say this is paramount in all works in the struggle for Negroes. This is vital to the struggle of the Jewish people for their own security and future. Black man and woman, these demons been used against you. They've been also used against the white Americans, the devils. Now listen to this. It's vital to the struggle of the Jewish people for their own security and future. This ain't about you. They didn't put millions of dollars into this program, millions of dollars into civil rights, millions of dollars into the 13th Amendment, millions of dollars into lobbyists and lawyers and making Thurgood marshals and pushing, putting their own judges in. They didn't spend millions of dollars for the black man. They had to switch the fabric of America so that they can find their way of getting rich and taking out you and setting their self on using the demons to set their self on top of the demons, but all the things that are being written in and brought about is for the false Jew. So it has surprised some people to find out that the president of the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People, the NAACP, is not a Negro. They said the president. The owner, the founder of not just the NAACP, but also the SCLC. They're paying the churches. Now look, but the new, let's say that again, it has surprised some people to find out that the president of the NAACP is not Negro, but the Jew Arthur Springer. It is the Jews who are leading the fight to destroy segregation in Atlanta schools. They now they want to just say it is in the schools. Did they fight just to destroy it in the schools, or they was fighting to destroy segregation, period? That's exactly what they was doing, because they couldn't achieve their agenda in a segregated America, because it would have left only two areas to work with. It was either going to be blacks coming up, or white. You would have had to work up under the white man. If you was any other color other than black, you would have been in a white man's world. Now, the NAACP is sponsoring suits. Listen. Sponsoring suits. The NAACP is sponsoring suits. That means they had to have the lawyers, the money to go in and dig in. This ain't no black people doing this. This is Jews, false Jews, excuse me, not Jews, false Jews. Sponsoring suits all over the country and in the U.S. Supreme Court. What kind of money does it take? Millions. Sponsoring. They got demons, Thurgood Martin. They're using the. Let's keep it going. To break down racial segregation and open up our white schools, restaurants, businesses, and hotels to Negroes. They know they can't get their foot in. They can't extort the black man if he has to do for himself. They can't find a way to distort no whites. They can't, because the whites gonna take care of whites. They gotta find a way who they can distort, how they can get in and distort and get money out of America and money out of the American dream, money out of something. They gotta find a way, not just themselves. Now listen. And they have to destroy the narrative that the black man and woman is the true seed of Abraham. So they got to get rid of all that. They have to make this to where, let's go and finish it. Then we'll go into it. So segregation and open up our white schools, restaurants, businesses, and hotels to Negroes. All important Jewish organizations are against segregation and have petitioned Congress for an anti-white FEPC law. The Jews is fighting this, and they're not fighting this for the black man and woman. They just utilize the black man because they couldn't produce, they couldn't run this movement without a people to that they was saying they was running it for. Now look who it assisted. A Jew, Julius Roseward, spent $30 million financing organizations and writers that promote Mongolization. A race once Mongolized is Mongolized forever. America must awaken to the Jew attack against white people. For more information on the Jew menace to the white race, right Christian anti-Jewish party. Now, let's take it a step further. The false Jews not only are the ones that took us from our land, they had a direct hand in slavery. Now, they've been set in the Middle East as the true seed of Abraham by America and Britain. Now, they took the black man, the demons, and started this segregation thing because they needed segregation because they needed to find a way to. It wasn't about the black man because they used the demons, they used the church to get what they wanted. They took the lawsuits out. They changed the law. They lobbied. They wrote up the 13th Amendment. The false Jews did all these things, and they did it not for the black man. They used the black man to lay the movement on top of, but they wrote the laws. They was breaking laws and barriers on the top of the black man's face, or the demon's face, and writing the law to suffice what they needed to exist. They needed to open up these lanes so they can find a way to manipulate or live or their existence. And they told you in the very first part of it, this is vital to the struggle of the Jewish people for their own security and future. Now, brothers and sisters, this false Jew, this is the one that the church got you talking about, the false Jew, and they walking with you there. Let us go. Look at this. They are walking with you, acting like they got love for you. They got their own. This is the demons. They got their own agenda. These are the ones that put you in the condition that you in. These are the ones that 1948, they've been placed in the Middle East up under your identity. They got the church worshiping false Jews. Oh, the Jews, Jesus was a Jew and false, the false Jew. that didn't do these everything, follow what they done. And then they were set over there to change the narration that the messenger was giving you. That the messenger gave us. That we're living out Exodus and that we're the true seed of Abraham. Everything that we can prove. But they took the demons. They utilized the demons they took a black face and put this movement on top of it to write in these laws, and they used the demons to attack, to walk and attack and incite the whites that wanted to keep segregation and they wanted their own. They didn't want a race mix, but the Jews they needed to race mix. And they told you they needed segregation for their own security. So they funded this. They funded the whole movement. And they wrote the law in. And the law benefited them. They was the one that benefited. Then they also utilized and they came in. What community did the false Jews come in and grab a hold of? In every aspect of the black community, the false Jew took over it. The false Jew took over your music. The false Jew took over your TV, what you look like on TV. The false Jews narrated you as pimps, hoes, dummies. They gave you the false Jews created your your culture. The Jewish lawyers are behind your music. The Jewish lawyers are behind anybody with money being signed. The Jewish your baseball players at the time, basketball players, all your sports, all their agents was Jewish, and they're reeling in all the money. They're controlling everything in the black community. They've been able to move in. They moved in into the black communities all through America and lived off the backs of the black community. Took over the black community, sucked and leashed their way on the black community as they built, as they took the laws, they wrote up the laws, and digest with the money that was coming to the black community was then coming to the Jewish community, the false Jewish, and it was being sent to the false Israel in the Middle East. They was building that off of the backs of what they call the black man and woman, but off the demons. And this is the false Jews was doing. And as they was using the demons, they couldn't talk about the Abrahamic covenant. That's what got Martin Luther King assassinated. Soon when he talked about the promised land, he was not even at the time. He couldn't even go into churches because they expected him to be going rogue. He's going to talk to Elijah Muhammad. Brothers and sisters, you have to understand that we are infested by these demons. Demon war. These brothers and sisters, they're out in your face. The Nas, the Jay-Z's, and yeah. How you got to think? How you think of this? How you gonna be this big rapper? You talking all this, this, that, and the other, and alhamdulillah and all this. Then you allow a homosexual to come in and he Little Nas. And you Big Nas. This is Little Nas and Big Nas. And you stand behind this. That's what these demons do. These demons pushing master agenda. They sit these demons in front of us, and they're your politicians, your preachers. They set them in front of your role. These are the role models that the devil sets in front of you, puts on TV screens. I'm talking about the Snoops, all that sit up and say that they're pushing master's agenda. They love master. They want to be close to master. They love integration. They want it to integrate. They move right out the hood, right up into the suburbs with master. They are master. They master's children. And this is what they use. They use these demons to keep your mind confused. You're too out of it to understand that we're not the same. It's 17 million demons. We're demon infested. So that gets us to the chief demon. Not only was the false Jews pushing to their own agenda, and they took our name, took our identity, pushed segregation onto whites and into the black community. They forced this agenda on America, set the demons up, and they used the demon's face to push this agenda. Had nothing, believe me, nothing to do with the black man. This wasn't for the empowerment of you. This was used to your demise. It was used for their success, their struggle, to the struggle of the Jewish people for their own security and future. So, now we get to the chief demon. This bullshit gaining ground. NOI backwards. Let me see where we at in time. Ooh. I've been going. Let me see how long we've been going. Ooh. Okay. I'm a hold. So, these false Jews, they've pushed this agenda, and they've kept and have the church and the people in the church pushing their agenda, thinking that this 13th Amendment and all these things was written up for the black man and woman. It empowered and embedded them. It set them into position so they can take out loans and get all this money and receive monies as different groups. They can add themselves in. But what you needed, black man and woman, the original, these demons was used. They don't understand. They couldn't set this up on their own. They couldn't just walk in and say this is what the false Jews want. This is what we want. They had to use the black man and woman. So they used the blackface demons. So this agenda was pushed through. So they pushed through and they took over every part of the black. Every part of the black. That's where they put their foot in every piece of the black man area. Businesses. They own all. Just rewind it. They own all of. They was the lawyers. They were the lobbyists. They pushed their own judges in. They paid judges off. None of the things that it took to make this happen even happened. No black people had a hand in making none of these things happen. So to even think that it was going to benefit you, that's what these demons, their ignorance is. But they're want to get close to master because that's what they bought into. That's what they was happy of just getting that. Woo, we get to go sleep by master. We get to get a house by master. That was what they were sold on. Ooh, we get to, because the real black man and woman will want separation. And the American people was in segregation. They want to, so they started this integration, this desegregation. The country was segregated. So they wouldn't have been able to get a hold on nothing. And they needed this for their own security. So brothers and sisters, you're the true seed of Abraham. This false Jew, which you're going to come in any day now. The war in the Middle East is going to start. And they're going to be taken out. They're not the true seed of Abraham. But before we get to that, we're going to go over this real quickly. I'm going to try to do this in the next 10 minutes of just this. We were being attacked by the false Jews. To find their way through, but they're trying to silence, and this is going to open up to where blacks are not only able to do for self, we can come in and now we can distort black people, and black people can come into our business. We can distort and take over. So we can mix and confuse the black people. Now they ain't got to go to give their money to their own people. They ain't got to spend their money with themselves. We can get their money. We can separate them. We can take over. And you got to look at what happened. They didn't go walk into white communities because they knew that they wasn't going to get nothing. The white, those different communities, they wasn't dealing with Jews, false Jews like that. They wasn't dealing with them. They was hated through America. They was hated. They was called Christ killers. That's why they was being done like they was being done in Germany. So they knew what they had to do to ensure that they were taken care of. And they funded it and utilized the demons to do it. Now, then they got to get rid of the narrative of Elijah Muhammad's narrative of the Islam that the Master Fard Muhammad brought to the original man and woman of America. So they had another problem and a scheme going on as well. While they were set into the Middle East, they didn't get set into the land that they called theirs, or the land that was written up to be the true seed of Abraham, because the house of Saud was there. And there's already in 48 being funded. America's already there. Britain is already in the Middle East. And they're already extracting oil from the Middle East. So, to keep that narration of we're the true seed of Abraham, they had an agreement. So they sitting in false Israel, and now they're able to control the money flow and control the black man and woman's how you everything about you, your whole, how you look, how you how your how the world sees you, the music that you listen to. They're built to schools that your children are in. They gave the curriculum to your children. They have emulated and designed the whole thought process that they wanted to install into the black man and woman, into the demons, because they knew that if they got it in the demons, that it will trickle, and in the demons will push it into the original black man and woman. That's what they done, and they kept. We know that the original people, they won't change, but the demons want what we have. And as long as we keep putting them up on a pedestal, we can feed our agenda to the rest of them. Now, I'm not even going to go into the rest of this, and I'm going to do a part 3, because I'm going to close this out, and because we are so close into this time that that these false Jews are about to be exposed totally. Now, we didn't expose them for what you can go find out. Now, these years has passed, and look at false Jews. Look at the Jewish communities that took hold of, got a foothold after the civil rights movement, and took over and lived off the backs of the black man and woman once again. After they set you up, they took you, they kidnapped you and brought you here, then they walked you, they took the demons and walked with them, and set them up, and like, we're walking with you to assist you and to help you come out of your situation that we put you in. that we sitting in the Middle East in your name. You think we about to walk you up? We won't walk you into a better situation, a scenario. No, we're walking you back into another kind of slavery. We about to eat off of you. We about to come in. We know you. We using the demons, the devil's children. We're using you. We're using you to infiltrate all y'all. That's what happened. But we're not the chief demon. We're not gonna get to the chief demon, Louis Eugene Grounds. NOI backwards, him and Wallace, because it's a whole nother part to this that the chief demon and Wallace was on, trying to push Sunniism to. They was going to use Sunniism, what they did, to switch out the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad from Master Fard Muhammad, the God that came and delivered the knowledge to the messenger, and the messenger came with the teachings. They objective is to switch out the teachings from the God with Sunniism. That's their objective, to push Sunniism and remove the teaching of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, as the false Jews took recognition, took our names and set over and was set in false Israel. So this is a plot by the dragon to also needed to stop the truth from being exposed, to stop the narration of the Abrahamic covenant, which is what all of this is about. What is controlling, what is causing everything that you see right now is what is happening because of the Abrahamic covenant. Now, we're going to end this with 1619 to 2019. What's going on? It is? Hold on. So before we end this, we have to bring you up to today. So in 1990, the one that was to come after the messenger of the covenant, as they keep trying to conceal the covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, and trying to give you the narration as that the Abrahamic covenant was coming from something of old, or something that happened in past history. So you're trying to give you and take you away from and distract you away from what the messenger taught. As we said, the false Jews were set over in the Middle East to try to kill the narration, to act like now they have completed, they have completed the Old Testament by being set in the Middle East, set in Jerusalem. However, they're not even where the Abrahamic covenant shared that is the promised land. Now, we're going to get back into, the house of Sod and this, the chief demon, and what them trying to exchange the teachings of the Honorable Elijah Muhammad and force and change that with Sunnism. Trying to feed Sunni Islam. And on our next one, we're going to go through why Sunni Islam took a direct interest into the black community. If this Sunni Islam invasion of the areas where wasn't Sunni Islam there prior to the messenger's teachings. So 1990, because they didn't get away. In 1990, the messenger of the covenant, it said, look, conquered the lion, the out of the tribe of Judah, the root of David, to open up the little book and the 7 seals. So, the breaker of the 7 seals, the one that will come after messenger, the messenger of the covenant. The messenger of the covenant of what covenant? The Abrahamic covenant. The one that will remind you that we are living out scriptures and that the scriptures were sealed up by 7 seals. And that in the end time, this one will come and break the 7 seals of the scriptures. That will break the seals, and we will share that the seals and given the Injil. He broke the 7 seals of the Injil, which is Revelations, the Gospel of Revelation. That's what the Injil is. The 22 chapters of Revelations. It's 7 seals divided by the 22 chapters. Now, this is how you know it's a mathematical sound book. Because 7 divided by 22 is 3.14, which is pi, which is a 360 degrees, letting you know that it's 360 degrees of knowledge in these unsealed scriptures, and that this key of the unsealed scriptures, this key will open up and give you the absolute understanding of the rest of the scriptures, the rest of the Bible. So it's unsealed. It lets you know that the Bible was sealed up to keep its authenticity till this time. And it said that only this one will be able to loose the 7 seals. So in 1990, Master Suleiman came, was already here. Master Suleiman broke the 7 seals. And it said, look, I am sending my messenger, and he will prepare the way before me. Then the Lord you are seeking will suddenly come to his temple. The messenger of the covenant whom you look for eagerly is surely coming, says the Lord of heaven's. Well, I don't like that translation. Yeah, no, that's it. Eagerly is surely coming, says the Lord of heaven's armies. Yeah, that's it. It's the right translation. Well, anyway. I think that is. Yes, it is. Well, anyway, the messenger of the covenant will suddenly appear in the messenger's temple. Now, we're going to bring this to a close. So, we're in the time of judgment. The messenger of the covenant has came and reminded us of the very covenant, the Abrahamic covenant, which Master Farah Muhammad came and shared with us, that we had this covenant and he was the God and he raised up one to bring us up out of our stupor, of our dead state, and share with us who we are and that we're living out Exodus and that we are the true seed of Abraham. Now, they've been trying to destroy this narration, setting false Israel up, trying to push Sunnism on the black man and woman of America. And everywhere you go, trying to kill, destroy the Nation of Islam, teaching up under the messenger Elijah Muhammad. They got the chief demon, a false Jew. His father is a false Jew, Percival Clark. He's a demon, like we went through this whole presentation talking about these demons, these black-faced demons. Percival Clark is his father, and he told you his grandmother and his grandfather was white Portuguese Jews. So that made his daddy a white Portuguese Jew that had a baby with a black woman, and he's a demon Portuguese Jew. Louis Eugene Grounds. Now, NOI backwards. Legion. Now, the messenger of the covenant came, the breaker of the seven seals. I've broken the seven seals, and I'm reminding you of your reward, the Abrahamic covenant, and I'm here to prepare you to return to the promised land, to your land. No one else on the planet, or no one here that you can point out as broken the seven, has even mentioned seven seals being broken, or came and reminded you of the Abrahamic covenant, or share with you that you're going back to your land, that you're going home, and giving you the understanding through the scriptures of the unsealed scriptures, with using the Injil key, that you can look and find understanding through all the scriptures of what they're sharing. And with that, you've been given the understanding of everything taking place in today's time that has to do with the black man and woman, with the true seed of Abraham, and everything that has to do with how time, that affects the time today and how it's playing out. You've been given all the information through the scriptures and the unsealed scriptures, and you can find each and everything that's being shared has been manifested in your face. You cannot deny everything that's taking place. We've been sharing with you verbatim how it was going to take place, when, why, when, the why, and how it was going to take place has been told prior to any of these events even happening. Before the war even came about, we've been giving you direct understanding of what's about to take place, how it's going to take place, how it's going to backfire on America, which war is going to happen first, what's going to happen after that war, the next war that's going to take place. So 1619 to 2019, we explain this, the 400 years of our time here in the hills of North America. 1619 to 2019. Also, ending in that same year, the 6,000 year period, rewind it. Do the math. The 6,000 year period of Yakub's graph the devil, the Caucasian white man, times up. Rewind it. The 6,000 years also ended. So, I missed another event. It's one other thing that ended at the same time. However, so the plague that came immediately after the 400 years said, I will send a plague on Egypt that will kill the firstborn. 2020 came in, the plague hit right on schedule, right after the 400 year period. The plague hit them, decimated the Caucasian nations. It didn't touch, it passed over the Africa, Haiti, it passed over the black America. Now, like I said, the demons, it wasn't going to pass them over because they are their father's seed. They are they're like their father. They can receive the same thing their father. They got the same nature. They got the same, they're a little stronger in ways. However, they are susceptible to the plague. But it said it will pass over those that had the lamb's blood on the doorpost, meaning that it had the same DNA or blood line of the lamb. So it passed them over. So all the original people around the planet, they didn't care about the plague. Didn't affect them. They wasn't dying all over in Africa, dying all over in Haiti. Wasn't no pandemic. But it was in false Israel, when they lied and said that they're the true seed of Abraham. They didn't pass them over. It didn't pass over no Caucasian nations. So we're in this time of the abomination of desolation. This is the event that the JCPOA is going to be the cause of. The JCPOA is the Joint Plan of Action, the 2015 nuclear agreement that Iran is not going to sign. We've been telling you this. I've been speaking on this since 2020. 2 years. Telling you and speaking on this war, speaking on this energy crisis that the EU is in right now, and how it's going to affect what's going to take place when the war kicks off with the War of Armageddon kicks off with America and Russia. However, this war in the Middle East, the abomination of desolation, which is the event that is the next event in the scriptures to occur, the abomination of desolation, when which will be sparked by the unsigning. Iran will not sign this nuclear agreement. They will not go back into this JCPOA, which will cause an immediate response, and they're going to go to war. Iran and Syria, Michael and his angels, Iran and Syria, Master Fard Muhammad is going to war they're going to war with the dragon and his angels, the House of Saud, Saudi Arabia, America, Britain and America, and false Israel. Michael and his angels are going to remove Saudi Arabia, the House of Saud, Britain and America is going to be removed and kicked out the Middle East, and then they're going to siege false Israel and then destroy false Israel. That the abomination of desolation, the shock of the hour, they're going to think that right in the nick of time that the rapture or God or somebody's going to come back and save false Israel in a nick of time and get rid of all its enemies. And when they see that didn't happen, it's going to shock them. They're going to be shocked, paralyzed, because the truth is going to be made manifested that there's nobody else you can conjure up and try to squash or kill or lie or cover up who the true seed of Abraham is. That the world, everybody in the world is going to know for a fact that the black man and woman has to be the true seed of Abraham after this. There will be this, because false Israel has been taken out. They've been taken out first. They're going to be taken out first because they have kidnapped us, took us here, brought us here, sold us into slavery, took our identity, been living off of us, walked the demons in our utilize the demons to again set us up to come into and live off of our parasites and use our use the black man and woman to write up agreements to where they can be successful and take over our communities and get all the money that was proposed to come to blacks and send it to false Israel as they built false Israel right again off the backs of the black man and woman with the lying of setting up the civil rights movement. So they're getting taken out first. We're getting there. False Israel is being dealt with first. That is the abomination of desolation, the shock of the hour, and immediately after that will be the War of Armageddon. America will directly attack Russia along with NATO, the EU, and all of them. However, this is where we're at. This is where I'm going to bring this to an end, and we will have a part 3 to sum this up. Now, the abomination of desolation, brothers and sisters, when you see this, you got to know that we're going to have to flee at that time, because when they find out that we're the true seed of Abraham, there's no discussion. False Israel has been taken down. They're going to turn around, as the scripture said, and the unsealed scriptures, they're going to attack us. They're going to attack all blacks. They're going to try to get rid of us. because they know who we are, and then they definitely know who they are, and they know that we're an existential threat to their very existence. Now, that's where we are. This is the event that we're waiting on, and I'm going to bring this to a close, and I thank you for watching. Brothers and sisters, do some research, pay attention. You're the true seed of Abraham. We're the true seed of Abraham, and the Levites. We are the true seed of Abraham. We are the ones that went through the 400 years of affliction that have been taken from our land. Nobody else can take that from us. The messenger of the covenant is here to remind us, and he has broken the 7 seals and is giving us the Injil and is walking us through each and every part of what's taking place through scriptures and giving us the understanding of them, and also narrating far in advance what's taking place, and everything that's been shared is coming to light exactly identical, ain't one iota off of what's been shared far in advance. And with that, I'm going to end this and greet you in the greeting words of peace of Assalamu alaikum. There we go.